What's up, Agency Go fam? So in this video, I want to talk about how I look at my financial model for my agency, how you can actually go ahead and build out a financial model that scales your agency to over $4 million in revenue, like I've been able to grow my agency, Twiz.io. And so in this, we're going to break down all the financial modeling needed and how to extrapolate out what your growth rate is like and when you're going to plateau with your agency. Let's jump into it. All right. So the biggest thing when it comes to calculating your financial expenses and calculating your profit and loss for your agency or software product or anything, we're gonna take Agency Go, for example, look at the expenses that have come through in the last 6 months since we launched. Beforehand, we were trying out some things more with like a service-based model, so I don't really consider our launch until January 2022, which is when we officially launched the software product and the community. So you can see our growth sort of took off since then. And last month we did 19K gross and $16,000 net. And then this is excluding part of the 20K number that I talk about we've hit so far is also our separate payment processor inside Twiz marketing, where there's an additional like $4,000 in expenses for other Agency Go members we're doing, let's say marketing services for, let's say. But I want to look at specifically here the Sas revenue that's generated for the agency or the software product since we launched, right? So the way I look at this is essentially right now we're growing pretty quickly, and I went ahead and looked at our model here. So right now our churn over the course of is pretty comparable with small business churn. So most SMB focused, small business focused brands, you can expect that your churn is going to be about 9% per month, 8 to 9%. If you can get it lower, that typically means one of two things is happening. One, your product is more sticky, right? Or you're targeting a higher demographic. So our churn is actually going down month over month. But right now I'd say about 8 to 9% is average churn for something like this, a product like this that's targeting SMBs. And even software that you use, probably like a Lemlist, for instance, their churn is about the same, 8 to 9% per month, because they're dealing a lot with small businesses. And our predominantly focus is agencies that are looking to grow and looking to scale. So no matter how good your product is, if you're targeting small businesses, your churn is almost always going to be higher. Now, there are some models like Stripe, for instance, where the churn is basically nothing because people use the payment processor and they never leave, right? And so we're trying to get our model to be more like that. But at the end of the day, if you're targeting small businesses, especially if you're an agency targeting small businesses, 8 to 9% churn, basically churning through 100% of your clients over the course of a year sounds really scary. But to be honest, it's actually very comparable with most small business focused companies. ClickFunnels, for example, is exactly like this. And the way you want to look at building a financial model when you're targeting a small business is that the small businesses that you're targeting, you want to look at it as people are going to have pretty high churn year one. And then after year one, those small business customers are going to stay for life, because most small businesses fail after year one. There's a lot of them that fail, right? About 50% of them fail. So what this means is that you're naturally going to have churn. It doesn't have anything to do with your product or service. It just has to do with the fact that so many businesses fail that are launching, right? Some of them go back to their other jobs, or they can no longer continue for other financial reasons. So this is actually a tool that we built inside Agency Go to measure how far and how fast you can grow before having a change of your business model. And so I'm going to work through a couple different financial models for you here. The first one is the current business model for Agency Go, and then also another model we're going to be rolling out here pretty soon, and how much potential that one has to scale, right? And so you have this little calculator, and if you're inside the app, you can actually access the calculator by going to the pie equation up here and then going to churn inside here, and you can put in your monthly churn in this corner. And then if you want to add the amount of clients, so last month we added 63 new clients. I expect this month we'll probably add 100 new members. So that's the client cap. That's if we churn through 8% a month, we will eventually plateau at 1,250 clients. That is the maximum amount that we can possibly get to with this churn, adding that many new members per month. And so you can say members, you can say clients, the same thing still applies. So the average monthly payments at the average price for every single member inside the community right now is about $106, because we do have upsells that people can scale up to. So typically the LTV for a current client is about $13.25. That's how much they're probably going to pay over the course of their lifetime. And then the MRR cap is $132,000. So with my current membership model, I could scale my membership to $132,000 per month without running into any issues with scale. So that's essentially how it works. Now, you can model this, you can play around with this, where you could essentially, like, let's say I cut my churn in half and I build a stickier software product. I can get this to $265,000, a $3 million business, without having to spend more money or doing anything else, literally just following the exact same model. If my churn is 12%, let's say, per month, then that cuts my MRR growth dramatically, about 50%. So you want to take these things into consideration. Now, right now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going towards more mid-market and enterprise agencies that are have over 50 employees. And what we're going to be doing there is we're going to be selling them $60,000 contracts for our new website. We're actually rolling out a new Twiz website that's going to be rolling out here in a couple of days, and we're going to be competing directly with like Upwork and Bark.com and stuff like that. So you can see that we have individual pages for all these different providers, and we're going to have up to 30,000 pages by the end of the year, right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be basically selling ad space to these people. So let's say that we're targeting more mid-market companies. Now, this is a separate model in addition to the one I just showed you here. This is an additional model. This is how you can think through mapping out your own plateaus and churn and your modeling, for instance. So with a mid-market company, they're going to have 12-month contracts, right? You're going to have 30 days to opt out of the contract. That's how we're going to structure it. And it's $5,000 per month. So let's do $5,000 per month. This is going to give like an insanely high number. That's not accurate. Let's say we can add on 5 new customers per month in this range, right? 5 new customers per month. Their LTV is 62,000, which actually is not correct. It's higher than that because the monthly churn, let's assume that if it's mid-market, let's assume it's half of the other churn, right? So now this is more like what you're looking at. You're looking at an LTV of basically 2 years, people paying you $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year for 2 years. That's roughly $125,000. You can cap out on this model at 125 clients, and your MRR cap is $625,000. And this is pretty comparable with the other kinds of models we're seeing from other businesses that have done this exact same model and scaled it within their organization. So this combined with the other model I made with the memberships basically shows that if we change nothing and we add on 5 new mid-market agencies a month to sign a 12-month contract with us at $5,000 a month, then we are basically on track for a $10 million agency, because you take the $625,000 and you add in the $132,000 and you're getting pretty close to 8 figures as an agency, right? And that's in addition to my current model at Twiz, which my Twiz marketing model for my marketing agency, which is the one I'm talking about right here in the new redesign. What we typically do is we'll bring on 20 to 30 new clients a month. Let's just say 25, just to be more clear. And then the average LTV is roughly about $1,800. So my MRR cap with that agency is 313 clients with an LTV of 22,000 and an MRR cap of 562,000. That's the MRR. That's kind of like the plateau we're going to hit with the agency. So when you combine all these different things, you combine the selling of ad space for this new software we're building, plus the MRR cap for Twiz, my total MRR cap is about $1.4 million per month for all of this business combined, which is essentially doing about $12 million, $14 million a year. So if I don't change anything with my model, I can hit those numbers. So that's how I think about my financials. Now, this section here is, remember, this is just the software expenses inside Agency Go, not including any like miscellaneous marketing fees around Agency Go, because some of the members come to us and ask us to do marketing. So those numbers are more like $20,000 in sales per month. Right now, $16,000 is what we're on track for right now. And you can see some pretty cool things, like as the sales have increased, our profit margin has gone up pretty well. So you can see that this is 50. I'll try to zoom in here so you can check this out in more detail. So this is 50%. See how it jumped? So it was 26, 27% when we were getting going. We were getting that initial jump. And then now it's like 59, 50%, right? Pretty much around that 50% number. And what's exciting about this is with software, when your margins increase, it's more reflective of a true software business. So your valuation goes up a lot. So this is my EBITDA margin after all my other expenses, right? Which is really exciting. So right now it's valued at 3x revenue. My marketing agency is valued at 1x revenue. If I took my blended average of all this, like let's say I get up to $14 million a year, I would actually have different multiples for each thing. So the multiple on this sort of like software leads on demand service would probably be around 2x, because it's a blend of like services and software. So you might have a multiple of 2x. So let's say this gets us to $6 million a year, right? Just from this selling of large ad space, $50,000 per year contracts, $60,000 per year contracts just for running ads to these landing pages to mid-market agencies. That alone is $12 million valuation. If I can get my software or my software to $123,000, that's over a 7-figure run rate. So at that point, you're looking at probably $400,000 a month valuation. So typically that's 4 million, 5 million. So just those two things, loans 11 million plus the agency doing about 5 to 6 million. Now you're looking at a company with an $18 million buyer's valuation in the markets, something you could sell for $8 million, right? So that's how I think about this. And typically what I'll do is I'll do a month by month breakdown of all my expenses. And I'm going to not really show you that part. Well, actually, I'll show you this. So we'll have our team blur this out. But this is all my expenses, right, for the different softwares and things that we pay for. And basically what we do is I go through every single month and I basically mark the expenses that are attributed to Agency Go, because we use the same credit cards as Twiz Marketing. And then I count it all up. And then I also add all the payments from Stripe. And then from there, I calculate down here what the expenses are going to be every month, right? So we're basically looking at this as a rolling average of how much things are growing. And we're also taking in software valuations from companies like Founder Path, for instance, which has a really good valuation numbers and multiples and gives you deals on things. I'm not affiliated with them, but I just think it's pretty cool. But this morning it was 420,000. Right now it's 412,000. But typically it's a 3x revenue multiple on the year, right? Which is pretty exciting. So I hope this has been valuable for you. I hope that looking at this information is something that will help you grow your agency and think about financial modeling, financial planning as you scale your businesses. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you want more information around this. But I appreciate you guys. As always, Agency Go fam, peace out.